Tonight, prosecutors lay out their case against Donald Trump. A criminal conspiracy and cover-up, or
this is a witch hunt and it's a shame.
Another unprecedented day in a New York courtroom as the first witness takes the stand. Their father died on vacation in Cuba, but the wrong body was sent home to Montreal.
He's lost. My father lost.
Now they're desperate for answers. And we sit down with the man now acquitted of murdering a police officer on his first full day of freedom.
This is the first time I went home, hugged my kids without any burden on my shoulders.
We break down whether the case should have even gone to trial.
From CBC News, this is The National with Ian Hennemensing.
Both sides of Donald Trump's hush money trial have started laying out their arguments in a case that's making history every step of the way. The prosecution saying Trump was part of a criminal scheme that amounted to election fraud in the 2016 presidential race. The defense hitting back saying nothing Trump did was criminal. The U.S. president has never before faced a criminal trial, and that's adding intensity to the spotlight. Chris Reyes spent the day at the court in New York, and she takes us through the first day of testimony.
It was a jam-packed first day on the job for the New York jury tasked with a historic responsibility, whether or not to convict a former U.S. president on criminal charges. First up, instructions from Justice Juan Merchan. The defendant is not required to prove that he is innocent, he told them. The burden of proof never shifts from the people to the defendant. Then, taking less than an hour each, opening statements from both sides.
An opening statement can make or break the case.
The prosecution highlighted the heart of their case, alleging that Trump conspired to hide an affair with adult film star Stormy Daniels from voters in 2016 by making hush money payments through his then lawyer, Michael Cohen, and then later falsifying records to label those payments legal fees. This trial is about a conspiracy and cover-up, said prosecutor Matthew Colangelo at the end of the case. We're confident that you'll have no doubt. From the defense, Todd Blanche launched into his opening by declaring his client innocent. He focused on Cohen, a key witness for the prosecution, and reminded jurors of his reputation as a liar. He has a goal, an obsession with getting Mr. Trump, Blanche said.
What the Trump team is really going to try to do is isolate the single conversation that supposedly occurred between Cohen and Trump about Stormy Daniels and the payments. And what the prosecution is going to lay out is that that conversation was part and parcel of a much larger ongoing conspiracy with layers of people and layers of conversations.
Included in that conspiracy, ex-publisher of the National Enquirer, David Pecker, who the prosecution alleges met with Trump and Cohen to kill damaging stories ahead of the 2016 presidential election. He was called to the stand to start his testimony.
Where's the line, Mr. Trump?
Outside the courtroom, Trump once again gave his take on the day with his usual tirade.
I'm here instead of being able to be in Pennsylvania and Georgia and lots of other places campaigning, and it's very unfair.
Chris, this trial seems to be moving along quickly.
That's right, Ian. Justice Merchan certainly living up to his reputation for running a very efficient courtroom. First up tomorrow, a side hearing on whether Donald Trump violated a limited gag order that prevents him from talking about witnesses. After that, David Pecker's questioning continues, and then the attention on this historic trial will likely reach fever pitch with the highly anticipated expected testimonies of Michael Cohen, Stormy Daniels, and even Donald Trump. So far, everything is on schedule, which means we could have a verdict in 6 to 8 weeks.
Chris Reyes in New York City. The body of a Quebec man is missing tonight, and his grieving family is searching for answers after a trip to Cuba turned into a tragedy and then a mystery. His body was supposed to be sent back to Canada, but as Alison Northcott explains, they don't know whose body arrived.
This is how Faraj Ala Jarjour's family wants to remember him, full of life with a glowing smile. But their grieving process after his death from a heart attack while on a family vacation in Cuba has been severed. His funeral canceled after the wrong body was returned to Canada.
He's lost. My father lost because we don't know where, and no one know where the body, or they send it to another family, or we don't know.
After Jarjour died suddenly in Varadero, his family says they paid thousands of dollars to Canadian consular authorities to arrange to have his body flown home through a Cuban agency. But the Montreal funeral home that received his remains quickly noticed something wasn't right.
So it was impossible. It was Mr. Jarjour. It was the wrong body.
How did you know that?
It was too young to be Mr. Jarjour. It was the first step. It was a person with no hair, and on the picture, and the body inside the casket was a person with hair, dark hairs, and so it was very, very different.
The funeral home says that body is still in its care as they work to figure out how to return him to his family. Global Affairs Canada says consular officials are engaged with Cuban authorities. The Cuban agency that transported the body didn't respond to our request for comment, but the funeral home says it's working with the agency to get answers and get the right body to Quebec. Jarjour's family has been making desperate phone calls to their MP and Global Affairs Canada.
Je suis épuisée, détruite.
His daughter, Miriam, says she's exhausted, destroyed. They all want a proper burial for Jarjour, but instead they're consumed by questions about where his body is now. Alison Northcott, CBC News, Laval.
The RCMP has announced a wide-ranging criminal investigation in Alberta involving meat that might be unsafe. 5 halal grocery stores, a warehouse, and a catering company have been shut down. And as Terry Reith shows us, there are concerns the meat may have made its way into restaurants.
This warehouse is one of 7 halal outlets shut by public health authorities. It provided food to retailers, restaurants, and hotels in Alberta. The closures come as the RCMP announced an investigation into the illegal slaughter and sale of sheep and goats in the province. The RCMP says the investigation involves a number of individuals, many rural locations, and a number of stores in Calgary. Alberta Health Services says there are concerns the meat was sold to restaurants and available to a broad customer base. And it says the businesses were closed immediately to ensure the public is protected. None of the outlets responded to phone calls, emails, or knocks at the door. Canada's food safety system requires that any meat sold to consumers come from federally or provincially inspected facilities. The grocery stores, warehouse, and catering company that were closed are suspected of selling uninspected meat. This expert says that can be very dangerous.
The health risks that foodborne pathogens pose to consumers range from anything from a minor episode of gastroenteritis, so maybe some vomiting, some diarrhea, right through to kidney failure and death.
So, Terry, what do we know about the criminal investigation?
Well, Ian, we learned that the RCMP began this investigation last fall, that it's wide-ranging and very much ongoing. As for those shops, they'll remain closed until they can prove that they're getting their meat from reliable and legitimate sources. One other point, 2 men were to appear in court in Didsbury, Alberta today. They were facing accusations of running an illegal slaughterhouse. So there is still going to be very much to come on this story in the coming days. Ian.
Terry Reith in Edmonton. To another developing story out of Alberta, a wildfire has triggered a new evacuation order tonight. All people in the area of Cold Lake First Nations 149 have been told to leave their homes and gather in a nearby community center. A hamlet southeast of Fort McMurray has been put on alert for a possible evacuation. And this shocking sight for many in London, Ontario Sunday night when a train on fire barreled into a residential neighborhood. It came to a stop near an apartment building where fire crews spent more than an hour bringing those flames under control. The train was carrying old wooden railway ties. Not clear when it caught on fire or whether the train crew noticed before the 911 calls. Canadian Pacific Kansas City Railway says all of this is under investigation. Sources tell CBC News Honda is about to announce a major deal to build electric vehicles in Ontario. The details of the multi-billion-dollar project are expected on Thursday, but as Olivia Stefanovich tells us, it's already being teased as the largest deal in Canadian history.
In this small Ontario town, people are buzzing about reports they're about to become a world leader for electric vehicle production.
I'm hoping that there'll be entry-level jobs and that people in this area will benefit from that.
And we'll take it. You know, we'll take it. Where the hell else are you going to send it, right? Ohio? No.
Even the premier is hinting something big is coming.
This week, we've landed a new deal. It'll be the largest deal in Canadian history. So stay tuned.
Senior federal government sources tell CBC News the deal is with Honda, a multi-billion-dollar plan to assemble EVs and their batteries in Alliston.
We have the critical minerals, renewable energy, access to market. So we're becoming kind of the place of choice in the world for manufacturing.
The agreement has been in the works for years, secured, say sources, by a 10% tax credit in the federal budget, intended to woo EV manufacturers.
I have every confidence we're going to see the magnetic pull of those tax credits bringing more significant investment to our company, to our country, in the days and weeks and months to come.
This industry executive says the deal will position Canada to serve both the domestic and lucrative U.S. markets.
This is for our Canadian suppliers, an extremely bankable customer to get. Everybody's very excited about hearing more of the details.
Those specifics will be released later this week when the deal is expected to be made official. This is the latest in a series of major agreements driven to secure the next generation of the auto sector north of the border. Olivia Stefanovich, CBC News, Ottawa.
And Ottawa police say they're investigating whether words spoken at a pro-Palestinian rally might constitute hate speech. Many Jewish groups pointing to a new escalation, outright praise for the October 7th Hamas attack. Kate McKenna has the details.
At a protest calling for a ceasefire, words that caused shock and widespread condemnation.
Long live October 7th! Long live the resistance!
Cheers of support for statements glorifying the October 7th attacks, when, according to Israel, Hamas killed nearly 1,200 people in southern Israel and about 250 people were taken hostage.
I was shocked, and it takes a lot to shock me at this point because, unfortunately, I've been shocked so many times about incidents taking place here in Canada since October 7th that, I didn't even know that there was still shock left in me.
All party leaders condemned the comments, including Prime Minister Justin Trudeau, who posted on social media saying, "There is a difference between peaceful protest and hateful intimidation. It is unconscionable to glorify the anti-Semitic violence and murder perpetrated by Hamas on October 7th. This rhetoric has no place in Canada. None." Ottawa police say they're working with the Crown to see if charges can be laid.
If there is hate crime that is said, it is not something that we tolerate, and we will fully investigate any hate crime. Sometimes, though, it is very obvious that it's a hate crime. Other times, it is difficult to hear specifically, and the words matter. Specific words do matter, and sometimes it is difficult to fully understand what they've said.
But experts say the bar is very high for prosecutors to allege that speech crosses the threshold into hate speech.
Some of these hallmarks include things like describing the members of the group as animalistic or subhuman, or as preying on children, or as inherently violent in character. I think that gives you some sense of how extreme the speech must be.
Whether or not charges are laid, members of Canada's Jewish community say anti-Semitism is on the rise, and the comments made at last weekend's protest mark an escalation in an already difficult time. Kate McKenna, CBC News, Ottawa.
In New York, pro-Palestinian protests took over Columbia University for a 6th straight day. All in-person classes were canceled Monday, and students were encouraged to stay away from campus. More than 100 people have been arrested since the demonstrations began. Dozens more were arrested at Yale today as the protests expand to other U.S. universities. A new study says too many First Nations patients are leaving emergency rooms in Alberta without getting treatment, and that systemic racism is one of the reasons why. As Madeleine Cummings shows us, that finding comes as no surprise to some.
On Siksika Nation, the stories go back years.
We've heard allegations of people being targeted by hospital security and staff to be harassed and to be escorted off the premises. We've seen doctors just automatically assume intoxication.
Samuel Crowfoot says a new study published in the Canadian Medical Association Journal validates what community members have long experienced in emergency rooms: racism and discrimination. Researchers knew from examining millions of emergency room visits that First Nations status was associated with higher odds of leaving without receiving care. This study looked at why that was and came up with some disturbing answers.
I think any time we have a disparity that appears to be related to race or identity, it's important, because in an ideal system, we wouldn't have people having poorer outcomes based on who they are.
The researchers asked dozens of First Nations patients and healthcare providers to talk about the statistics. They shared stories of racism, stereotyping, longer waits for care, and communication and transportation barriers. Family doctor James McCocus says the whole healthcare system needs to change.
When these issues happen, when racism happens that causes harm and death, that there needs to be systems changed to address those things.
Alberta Health Services acknowledges there are barriers to care for Indigenous people and says it's implementing a roadmap to improve care for that population. But for Samuel Crowfoot, this problem is bigger than one province.
This is not a problem unique to Siksika. This is not a problem unique to Alberta, but it thrives here in Alberta.
He says patients and First Nations should complain and take cases to court to raise awareness and advocate for change. Madeleine Cummings, CBC News, Edmonton.
As Ottawa gets ready to host an international conference to end plastics pollution, there's a problem piling up in Canadian homes.
What a waste. Really, it's a waste.
What to do with all those reusable bags? One company may have the answer. The moment a home run caught kayakers by surprise.
The stars have got to line up for something like that to happen.
And the Spice Girls together again. We're back in 2. Powerful floods brought down this bridge in South China after days of record rainfall. State media says at least 4 people are dead and more than 100,000 people have been forced to evacuate. More than 80 earthquakes have rattled Taiwan's east coast over the last 24 hours, the strongest, a magnitude of 6.3. This comes just weeks after at least 14 people were killed in the strongest earthquake Taiwan has seen in nearly 25 years. The region has been jolted by aftershocks since then. Delegates from around the world are gathering in Ottawa this week to work on a new global treaty to eliminate plastic waste. On the eve of that summit, the federal government announced new rules for plastic producers in this country.
This important demonstration of Canada's commitment to end pollution and build a circular economy.
In a new registry, producers must now report how much plastic they're making and where it all ends up. The new rules cover a range of products, including electronics and single-use plastics. Canada's ban on plastic bags is creating another issue. Now, reusable bags are piling up, and so are calls to come up with a solution. Sophia Harris now with what some big grocers are doing and why some experts aren't convinced.
It's never ending. Look at that.
Over the past 2 years, Udi and Natalie Sella have amassed hundreds of new reusable Walmart bags, all from grocery delivery.
What a waste. Really, it's a waste.
So the couple was happy to learn Walmart has launched a national pilot project where customers send by mail, at no cost, their unwanted reusable Walmart bags. The good ones are cleaned and sent to the food bank to be reused. Damaged bags get recycled. The Sellas have already signed up.
I definitely think it's a step in the right direction. I think it's something that needed to be done a while ago.
But some experts are keen on Walmart's project because it doesn't stop customers from acquiring more of these.
We're drowning in them, and we shouldn't be. We're only meant to have a few of them, and we're meant to use them until they fall apart, essentially, in order to avoid things like this going to landfill.
Ever since Canada banned single-use plastic shopping bags a little over a year ago, reusable ones have been piling up.
This is how I store them.
The ban is being contested in court, but still remains in effect. Walmart says it's also exploring other solutions, including customers returning bags in the store. So what about other big grocers? Loblaw and Sobeys are delivering groceries in recyclable paper bags. But environmental expert Emily Alfred says that's not a solution.
What's the problem with paper bags?
We're not really stopping the wasteful system. Paper bags are made from trees. It requires logging, it requires water.
Alfred likes what Grocer Metro offers. Customers can get groceries delivered in a returnable plastic bin. But that doesn't help in-store shoppers.
Piles of them. And
Alfred hopes the federal government will step in and mandate retailers find workable solutions for all customers to bring an end to this. Sophia Harris, CBC News, Toronto.
The man acquitted of the murder of a police officer says he's looking to the future.
Do you want an apology from any of those officials?
We want to move on from what happened.
But questions remain whether there was ever a case.
It should never have made it this far.
A reunion that almost didn't happen.
The important thing is they are here.
She was out tens of thousands of dollars trying to get her kids to Canada until a CBC News investigation helped change that.
I had the capacity to help because I knew people.
The National breaks down the stories shaping our world. Next.
Thank you very much. I need somebody with a human touch.
A little Spice Girls reunion in London this weekend to celebrate Victoria Beckham's 50th birthday. The British pop act gave an impromptu performance at the star-studded event, partying like it's 1997. History set to be made next month when the world's largest facility designed to pull carbon dioxide out of the air is activated. The project is called Mammoth, and as Benjamin Shingler explains, while it's housed in Iceland, many think Canada could become a leader in the industry.
In the shadow of Iceland's mountains, fans will begin to whir next month at Mammoth, the world's most advanced project to suck carbon out of the air and bury it deep underground.
Well, it's kind of boring, isn't it? Because effectively what happens is some fan starts to pull in air inside these big boxes.
It sounds so simple. But even promises for the technology are drawing hundreds of millions of dollars in investments around the world. Canadian companies like Quebec-based Deep Sky want to get on board. For now, its projects are just renderings.
There's no reason that we can't make carbon removal look like that.
Deep Sky has secured $75 million in financing and plans to use Quebec's hydroelectricity to power their plants.
Canada has all the elements. What Saudi Arabia is to the oil and gas industry, Canada could be to carbon removal.
Invest in emerging clean technologies.
Ottawa has announced billions in tax credits for direct air capture, but critics worry this climate solution misses the point, the need to drastically reduce emissions in the first place, and use this technology for unavoidable emissions. But right now, there isn't a clear consensus on what that means.
And without that, you can imagine you're wasting all of your carbon removal capacity on something like private jets.
People who study the technology say it can be part of the solution, but it will take time.
As we move forward with decarbonization and decarbonizing Canada's industry, we're going to need this technology in variety of places.
Technology only happens when you build something. You only learn from building. You only scale from building.
For now, that reality is a long way off. Even for Climeworks' new facility, what the world emits in an entire year, Mammoth will only capture about half a minute's worth. Ben Schingler, CBC News, Montreal.
Now it's time to dig deeper into the stories shaping our world.
This is her letter.
A CBC News investigation set the stage for a hard-won reunion. But first, the serious questions raised by the trial and acquittal of Umar Zameer in the death of a Toronto police officer.
Honestly, I lost hope a couple of times.
The politicians who cried foul when Zameer was granted bail, the judge who gave a rare apology the moment he was set free.
It was a weak case then, it's a weak case now.
And the lessons for police on how to act when they're in plainclothes. There's a lot to break down here. Ellen Morrow starts us off with the latest reaction from Umar Zameer and everything that led him into this national spotlight.
We wanted people to know the truth. Thank God it came out.
Umar Zameer is only just starting to feel the heaviness lifting. A day after he was acquitted in the death of a Toronto police officer, the end of nearly 3 hellish years for him and his family.
I felt so relieved. This is the first time I went home, hugged my kids without any burden on my shoulders. It was a moment which I was blessed after years, 3 years.
That was really difficult.
This is the first time Zameer's wife Ida has spoken publicly about the case and its impact on the couple's children.
I remember when the trial started and we told him that Baba has a project and let's pray for his project. And every day we would sit together and pray. So yesterday he came home and said that Baba's project is over now and we won.
It all started after Canada Day celebrations in 2021. The couple, Ida, pregnant at the time, was with their young son in a Toronto parking garage. Plainclothes officers were there too, investigating an earlier stabbing. Zameer testified the officers did not identify themselves as police as they approached his vehicle, banging on the windows. Zameer said he thought they were criminals and, fearing for his family's safety, sped away, running over and killing Constable Jeffrey Northrup.
I was thinking about the family of Officer Northrup, his kids, his wife. It's a tragedy.
This is the driver. Okay. He's under arrest right now.
But police said it was a deliberate act, and Zameer was charged with first-degree murder, even though during the trial, video evidence would contradict the testimony of several officers.
I couldn't tell what was going on in their minds. I couldn't tell why they were doing this.
The Crown's theory made no sense because there's zero motive for Mr. Zameer to go out and kill anyone, let alone a police officer. It should never have made it this far.
The judge in the case even offered Zameer her deepest apologies after the years-long ordeal, one that caused him to miss the birth of the couple's second child during Zameer's nearly 3 months in custody before receiving bail.
When she was delivering our baby, that was the hardest moment. No one was there. She was all alone in the hospital.
The couple says their oldest son is still traumatized from that night.
I just want to spend time with him, not to just move on and myself. I just want to spend time on him so he moves on too.
Zameer also faced fierce public scrutiny, prominent Ontario politicians tweeting angrily when bail was granted.
Do you want an apology from any of those officials?
I think we want to move on from what happened.
We just want them to believe our truth. That's all. To believe what actually happened.
Toronto's police chief expressed disappointment with the verdict.
I share the feelings of our members who were hoping for a different outcome.
But the force is now asking the Ontario Provincial Police for an independent review over policing concerns raised by the judge. Toronto Police also launching an internal review of procedures for plainclothes officers.
There are a lot of lessons to be learned. The problem of tunnel vision, particularly when it is a police officer who is the victim. There's also the issue of how plainclothes officers ought to be behaving when approaching civilians, particularly those who have done nothing wrong.
For the couple, they say they don't hold any anger or bitterness, just hope for the years ahead.
I have seen the both aspects of evil and good here in the past 3 years. The length of evil was long, but I think the strength of good was more.
The way our truth was heard and believed by the jury, by the honorable judge, it just made us forget everything in a second. Now we're just looking ahead, you know. We're happy, but we're happy that we were able to tell our truth.
This case raises some serious questions about the justice system, and we brought in 2 criminal defense lawyers to discuss it. Lydia Riva, let me start with you. You actually attended the trial on some days. Should this have ever gone to trial?
It is shocking, Ian, that the Crown proceeded on first-degree murder. In order to prove first-degree murder beyond a reasonable doubt, the Crown would have proved that Mr. Zameer had the state of mind for murder and that he knew that these were police officers. And there were significant flaws in the Crown's case. Their own main police witnesses were contradicted by their own accident reconstructionist. These were plainclothes officers who were in an undercover operation who ambushed Mr. Zameer's car. So even the issue of whether he knew these were police officers would have been apparent right from the beginning of this case. So I do think it's shocking that he went to trial on first-degree murder, but thankfully the right and just verdict came about.
Rishi Gill, you were a prosecutor here in British Columbia. We learned that the judge had actually questioned the prosecution during this trial about their decision to go ahead with the trial. How hard is it for a prosecutor kind of mid-trial to reassess the evidence and say, hey, you know what, maybe we shouldn't be going forward?
It's not hard. I mean, to be frank, it's not hard. And it's something that it's the prosecutor's duty to continuously review the disclosure, review the evidence, and see what's the right result. The prosecutor's not there as the victim is not the client of the Crown. The Crown speaks for the public interest. And the Crown has a duty to be fair, and they're almost in a judiciary capacity. They're almost like a judge. I took my job extremely seriously as a Crown, and I loved it when I was doing it. But here, what the comments of the judge throughout the trial, and most pointedly, the comment of the judge at the very end of the trial, where she apologized to the accused, Mr. Zameer, that is shocking. That rarely, if ever, happens. I don't think I've seen one case that I've had conduct of, and I've done a lot of cases where a judge has said that. A judge, if anything, they'll go the other way, and a judge will say, look, your lawyer did a very good job of implying it, but I think you're probably guilty, but you're not guilty beyond a reasonable doubt. For a judge to actually go on the record and apologize to an individual is unprecedented. You could probably find a handful of occasions where that happened, and it's mostly wrongful conviction cases, so we're lucky we didn't get there. But it is shocking.
So, Lydia, in a case like this where the judge gave that apology to the accused, to Mr. Zameer, yes, he's been acquitted, but after a long period of time of facing this first-degree murder charge, do you think there's any value with him trying to sue someone, the police or the Crown, for this going ahead?
There is a tort of malicious prosecution, and to establish that tort, you have to show that a police officer or government official charged or filed a charge without reasonable and probable cause, and there has to be animus or bias or some other interest against justice or maliciousness. I don't know if Mr. Zameer is going to want to do that. I've done cases where clients have been wrongfully accused, they've gone through the process, they've been found not guilty, and in the end, they just want to put it past them. Going through the criminal justice system is a very difficult ordeal, particularly for a factually innocent person, and it might be that he just wants to put it behind him. That being said, I'm sure he'll consider his options and review it with his lawyers.
Rishi, there's another issue here as well. Zameer was released on bail after being charged, and some prominent politicians were very critical, very public, saying that someone charged with murdering a police officer shouldn't be out on bail. What do you think the lesson is when it comes to the bail issue?
The lesson is that politicians need to be extremely careful. And I would criticize the politicians very comfortably by saying those were outrageous comments. If they had any clue of what their role was, they wouldn't have said those things. It's incendiary. It's what gets our society in trouble when we decide not to follow rules. And it's not the people and not the public that one should blame. It is the leaders and the politicians. Just quickly going back to the Crown issue, I think there should be, quite frankly, some sort of investigation or internal review of how the Crown proceed on this case. But one lesson we can take here is it is absolutely irresponsible and pandering and every other derogatory name I can think of for politicians to go off like that when somebody is before the courts and it is completely contrary to what the actual evidence was. And that is shocking in a civilized society.
Rishi Gill, Lydia Riva, thank you very much for your analysis.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Next, a Newfoundland woman who lost thousands of dollars to bring her daughters to Canada will finally get to see them.
Every trouble is worth it. They're here.
How a CBC News investigation helped reunite them. Anxiously awaiting a reunion that took so long and cost so much.
My kids want their money back.
CBC News revealed the broken promises that kept her from the daughters she had worked so hard to support.
Me, I want my kids here.
And that put the wheels in motion for this. Chris O'Neill Yates breaks down everything this family went through to get from angry desperation to a moment of boundless joy. And this story comes with a cautionary tale for other families trying to reunite in Canada.
Welcome to St. John's International Airport.
Joy Thompson has waited years for this.
I'm so nervous.
For her daughters to finally join her in Canada.
What's going through your mind right now?
Every trouble is worth it. They're here.
Escaping an abusive relationship, Thompson came here to work in 2004 to help support her kids and put them through school back in the Philippines. And it paid off. Daughters April and Aubrey Nouvel graduated as nurses. In 2018, they were working in Dubai. To join their mother in Canada, they needed work permits. Thompson's boss introduced her to Rose Smith, owner of an employment agency that offers immigration services. Smith said for $12,000 each, she could get Thompson's daughters jobs here in Lewisport, Newfoundland, working as personal care attendants at this retirement home she said was owned by a close friend.
When the working permit is done, we were all so happy.
Then in December 2020, Smith told them their start date was delayed because of COVID. They reached out to a Newfoundland immigration officer for help.
She tells you that you should make sure that
she's registered.
She's registered as an
immigration
already. Consultant.
I knew it already by this time that she is not.
When the employer withdrew her support for the applications, they asked Smith for their money back. She refused, saying they got the services they paid for.
Our dreams shattered. My hope of being with them disappeared.
This was not the first time a client had a problem with Smith. We did some digging and discovered Rose Smith is actually former immigration lawyer Rose Laure Noel. In 2014, Noel was found guilty of professional misconduct for failing to cooperate fully with an investigation into 5 client complaints involving the fees she charged and how she handled the monies. Her license was revoked in Ontario and Quebec. In the Nuvals case, Smith insists that everything was above board, that she hired a lawyer to submit their immigration applications.
Were you ever aware that there was a lawyer that was processing your files?
No.
Thompson says the only person that ever gave them immigration advice was Rose Smith.
My kids want their money back. Me, I want my kids here.
Then finally, some good news.
I heard the story when you were exposing what had happened, and I was truly shocked.
After seeing our original story, international recruiter Wanda Cuff Young sprang into action.
You know, when I found out these ladies were given opportunities to work in Newfoundland and the jobs were then canceled, I thought, you know, I had the capacity to help because I knew people and I knew who to talk to in the provincial government.
Which led to the health authority making the Nuvals a new job offer, this time as full-fledged nurses. Today, the first of Thompson's daughters, Aubrey, is due to arrive with her husband to begin their new life in Canada. You've been trying for years to bring your family here. What does it feel like that they're here now?
I'm happy. I don't know. It's mixed emotion after what happened. I don't know. The important thing is they are here. Love you, Mama.
Finally here.
24 hours later, Joy's second daughter, April, arrives. And another good thing happened after our story first aired. Thompson became a grandmother.
At last, I'm here. Yeah, great relief.
What does it mean to you that your mom is going to get a chance to be in your daughter's life here in Canada?
Happy, very happy, because my mother left us when we were still young.
An opportunity now for this family to make up for lost time.
And Chris, how common is it for people to end up hiring immigration consultants who are unregistered?
People in the immigration business tell us it is quite common. Not everybody has a good Samaritan to intervene and help them get their relatives to Canada. This happy ending is a bit of a cautionary tale for anyone wanting to bring their relatives here. If you're going to use a consultant, make sure they're registered to do that work, because if they're not, you may have little by way of regulatory safeguards if something goes wrong.
Chris, nice story. And another nice story is that you are, after a long, illustrious career here at the CBC, retiring. That's your last piece. Congratulations.
Thank you so much. And it's been a wonderful 30 years. Thank you to everyone for making it so wonderful for me.
Chris O'Neill Yates in St. John's. I understand the big party is on Friday. Next, a home run hole-in-one.
It just went bloop. It landed right between her legs, and she pulls it up like unbelievable.
The front row reaction in our moment. Well, those are some lucky kayakers who are at the right place at the right time. In their hands, the splash home run ball launched by San Francisco Giants player Patrick Bailey, a career first for him. The baseball went straight from his bat into their kayak. Tonight, that gift is our moment.
Splash down. Wow. I mean, he missed the whole ocean.
On Saturday, Patrick Bailey, a San Francisco Giant, hits it into the bay, but it doesn't hit the water. It lands in the kayak of a wonderful couple. It just went bloop. It landed right between her legs, and she pulls it up like unbelievable. When the ball goes into the cove, if it doesn't hit any concrete or any part of the park, it's considered a splash hit. And first time ever in 24 years, a ball has never gotten wet, but still called a splash hit.
That might be a first.
I had a front row seat for that. That day, when they came out, I said, oh, I got to battle against you guys today. And they said, oh no, we're gonna stay out of your way. Stay out of my way, the ball went in their kayak. They got the last laugh on that.
In the kayak! In the kayak! Wow!
Just, the stars have got to line up for something like that to happen.
First of all, I feel like if I would do that, the kayak would, or the ball would hit me in the head. So anyway, fortunately, no one was hurt there. Mark, the fellow that was doing all the talking there, his nickname, Mark the Shark, he has caught 7 home run splash balls outside the stadium. Thank you for being with us. You can watch anywhere, anytime on the free CBC News app and subscribe to the Nationals YouTube channel. I'm Ian Hanamansing in Vancouver. See you tomorrow night.